Welcome everybody to the Wildflow'ers vodcast, and I'm Michelle Withers, and I'm dialing in from New Zealand in the evening, and I want to say a big hi to my co-host Michelle Sherns.
Hi, I'm calling in from Luxembourg actually, and it's pretty hot out here.
And we have with us tonight for this episode Orli Wechsner, and she will tell us a little bit about where she is right now and some of the other places that she has journeyed in her recent lifetime. Well travelled indeed. And we are in for a real treat today because we're going to be talking about the subject of self-inquiry. And that is I found it to be a pretty amazing tool in the last few years in having experienced some of Orli's work. And in addition to having that special time with her learning about this particular tool, we all met on a wonderful training experience back during lockdown. And I think Jamie Cato called us a merry band of pirates, amongst other things, but we were there doing self-development work together. So it's wonderful to have you here today, Orli. It's been a few years, certainly since we were on that segment of our self-development journey, and welcome you. It's great to see you, and we'd love to have you share with us a little bit about yourself to get things going.
Wow, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Shell and Michelle, for having me here. It's really great. And right now, physically, I'm in Jerusalem, visiting my family. I was born in Germany, in Berlin, and I grew up here in Israel, in Jerusalem. And as soon as I had the choice again, I left. And I went back to Berlin, thinking I'd just like to have a year in the city I was born before I come back home and continue my life. But life had plans for me, and I went to India instead of coming back to Israel, and I met the vision of Osho. I was about 22 then. And at first I was completely shocked, coming from Israel, being half German, half Jewish, and then seeing a bunch of people going, Osho, in the evening. I was like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? What is that? But it didn't take me long. And I was touched. I was thrown off the horse completely. I wanted to go into the hospitality industry. Actually, I had a vision of being a hotel manager, like in some super nice, luxurious international hotel chain by the age of 30, and give people an amazing experience of being guests somewhere. It never happened. I just dedicated my life since then to explore myself and life. I was 22. I didn't know much then. I thought that's what I'm doing. I spent more than 10 years for sure, being mainly in India, in the Osho Commune International, as it was called then. I don't know how they call it now, not going there anymore. But basically, I received a new name, Antal Sushma, Inner Beauty. And that was it. I thought I'm going to live my life as a sannyasin, whatever that means. I had no idea. I thought it was about having a great time and partying and doing all kinds of unconventional things, even though Osho was really basically talking about meditation, but I kind of postponed that for later.
Well, you have a very, very beautiful story, because you told that you never made that dream that dream come true to be a host for other people in an hotel. But like collecting every piece of puzzle of your experiences and then doing the self-inquiry makes you the most beautiful host for other people. I mean, in such things as inspiration.
Completely, I totally agree, because as I was telling this story of my life, I just suddenly realized exactly what you're saying now. It turns out that 30 years later, I'm inviting the people to be hosts to themselves, in themselves. And that is, first of all, for free. You don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, that's where this most luxurious abode is. Whether you know it or whether you don't doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just about turning a key. It's more here and looking here instead of wanting to go there. So yeah.
And even what came to me was Rumi's poem, The Guest House, because that particular poem, which we've actually read in one of our other episodes, literally talks about the inquiry of self. And it's like you are very akin to Rumi and other Sufi poets' works. And so, yeah, I didn't know that you wanted to be the hotel manager. So you are definitely, like Michelle referred to as well. So, yeah.
The self-inquiry hotel.
Coming home to yourself.
Yes.
Coming home to yourself through knowing, through experience, not by idea, not by concept, and definitely not by the definitions of others, right?
Yeah, the opinion of others. I mean, we have to find our own opinion and not being afraid to speak it out and not living by others' opinions. That's exactly correct what you're saying about. But before you just told that it's a key to self-inquiry, to quiet the mind. And quiet the mind, that's so my subject. I'm so much into this. And yeah, we can't do self-inquiry before we empty that cup, which is really like overflowing full.
When you say the cup which is overflowing full, you mean the mind?
Yes.
You see, so for me, self-inquiry is a possibility at every given moment. It doesn't matter what goes on here. What actually happens, according to my understanding, is as we decide to inquire, that's actually the only thing needed. It's our decision, our choice, our freedom of, I mean, this is running anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like uncontrollable. Absolutely correct. I agree with you. It's overflowing and generating more and more and more. And then it just spills out and blah, blah, and blee, blee, and whatever. As we decide to self-inquire, especially if we do it with another, which is not the only possibility, but especially if we kind of say, okay, let's sit for a session, or I'm kind of not really able to do it on my own. I'll go to someone to support me. Or we sit in council or in a circle or in a group of any thought with the focus and with the intention to inquire into the moment. Immediately, we kind of put the attention down, literally down, starting with the felt sense of the body right now. As I'm sitting here, I feel the temperature, I feel the heat, I see you, I notice the birds. I sense the support of the chair, my sweat, and here I am. What's going on with the mind? It's just helping me to voice the experience, using the cognitive capacity of speech. Without that, I couldn't communicate. Here we are. I am just having a moment of self-inquiry in this very moment. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm simply here. And talking to you is a great support. And that's the beauty of doing it with somebody together, setting the intention for that. And not for the mere chatter of, how do I do? Can I? What do I need to do? What is missing? It's just like, and then roll.
Becoming aware. It's becoming aware of the thoughts, of the feelings which are happening. And I remember it was in breathing space. We had to do an exercise, a meditation, a felt sense meditation. It was about connecting with something around you. So it was Rebecca, she told, yeah, you just take the first thing that you see around you and just connect with it. And I was like, oh my God, what's around me? There's nothing around me, what I can grab. And I grabbed my mug, my red mug. And I was like, okay, it's going to be funny how I connect with the mug. And then it started, the meditation started, like, close your eyes, tap into your body, just start to feel what you, start to feel with your senses, smell, you know, see or feel. And then, like, it took a minute, and then some thoughts popped up in my mind, like, oh, the cup is feeling cold. And then immediately a smell or a taste of cold coffee comes in, because sometimes my mug is like hours there without touching it, and the coffee is cold afterwards. And then also I smelled like the taste of fresh coffee in the morning, which like keeps me alive or wakens me up. And then I like also thought about the message. It's lächle, du kannst sie nicht alle töten, which means smile, you can't kill them all, you know. Often when I have a video chat or a video conference, friends ask me about this and immediately start to smile. So my cup can make someone smile as well. And often I dive my pencil in during drawing instead of the water next to it. So a mug has funny things to say. And I thought if we can connect to a mug or to, no matter what, we can also connect to people and connect to nature. And that's, I believe, something which is lost a little bit, especially during the last years we are living actually now, this lack of connection.
I agree. I completely agree. Everything can be an entry point to have an aware experience of the moment as me. This is the whole point, you see? It's not some general idea or a theory about the world or how it should be. It's just like, actually, you could sum it up. What is going on for me at the moment? And you use the word, Michelle, awareness. Self-inquiry, and it just comes now out of our meeting here, could also be defined kind of complete awareness of what is going on here. In this one, facing, meeting, in contact with that, the other, life itself, political news, especially for me. I'm sitting in Jerusalem. I mean, without having to go anywhere, I am in the middle of a very intense situation on many different levels. Mm-hmm. I'm walking around meeting my friends, attending my daily matters, and I am aware in every cell of my body. It's not something I think about, I feel it in my body, that there is a very particular atmosphere and it has an impact on me. Doesn't matter what I think about it, whether I have any kind of idea about how it should be, what are the reasons. It's just like walking around, and in a way, that's coming like from my experience right now at this moment, right? And it brings tears into my eyes. And it gives me a presence that I feel I'm guided by myself. Some things right now I'm not saying. Some people I'm not connecting with. I am taking extra care. And all of this is coming not from asking anybody else or wondering about what is it I should do. It's just from listening to myself and sensing the impact of what I am in contact with. And that is what self-inquiry, it's not about finding any particular self or whatever. Forget all of that spiritual, conceptual, wonderful teachings.
Yeah.
It's what's happening to me right now as I am in this.
Mm-hmm.
And the information received from inside, it's just the best guidance. You know, I've done so much shamanic work in my life, and there are so many different, I've sat with masters, Vedanta teacher, non-dual people, shamans in South America, whatever, mystics, Sufi teachers. I've just been around and curious and blessed by the opportunity to also travel a lot. So, and I really went for it, and it's all wonderful, and it was all a big support. But by the end of the day, when it comes to my small life, this body, this reality, I have to get my guidance from inside. There's just no other way, and there's no mystery around it. You see, for me, it's kind of like the basic of the basic. Who else can tell me what to do if nobody else can be inside of me? It's only me here.
Very well said. I've got just a wee curiosity, Orli. Is self-inquiry seen as a psychotherapy as a tool, or not strictly so, or it's not something you get certified in like you would with CBT or anything like that, is it?
Not really, as far as I know. I mean, there are quite a few well-established spiritual schools or mystical lineages, like the Diamond Approach, for example. Hamid Ali, H.A. Almas, he is very known, and he is basically also one of the founders of the lineage of work which I am very committed to, inspired by, and they certify teachers. I am not a certified Diamond Approach teacher. You asked if it's a psychotherapeutic thing. No, it's not. Because what is there to therapize? There's only to become intimate and familiar. So there is actually no problem that needs to be solved. There are many wanderings which are changing all the time, and they are very personal and individual, which want to be explored. So what I would say, this is how I understand it, it is my personal understanding. Self-inquiry is no therapy. It's an exploration. It's a journey which goes on forever, which empowers me to be the authority and the guide of my life in an ever-changing way. So there's no kind of manual to it.
Yeah.
No frame, no manual.
No frame. I mean, of course, there are steps in self-inquiry, kind of. Of course, there are practical steps to get to this place where I can start listening. And what I also have to say, to be completely honest, it's quite a journey. It has no instant results, and it is. I always say I like to work with the curious and the courageous, because there's it's a complete turning inward, right? Means we take responsibility also,
which is sometimes really, really difficult for some people. But I think there are a lot of
course.
Yeah, I take it also as a part of growing, because I believe we are here to make experiences, and those experiences are given every day from morning to evening, sometimes even in the night with a dream, I don't know. And we should take these experiences and not falling into the Opfer position,
Victim,
the victim position, and blame everything around and everybody around, but like taking also this piece of puzzle, if you want, and learn from it. What is it? Why is it here for? What is it doing with me? And what is the message behind? How can I use this to move forward, for example, if I'm stuck? Because as we told before in the pre-talk, life is never stuck. Life is like a flow. Everything changes. We are changing. Like nature, it changes all the time. If we are stuck, we are inflexible. It doesn't grow anymore. So we have to move. We have to stay in the flow to grow, like nature, as we are a part of nature, like you said.
And the more information, I always say, the more information I have, the better I am prepared to meet the unknown challenges, which are for sure going to come. Because being familiar with myself is also, that's why I think I said the word empowering. I mean, it's not about any big hoo-ha. It's just this, knowing myself, knowing my shortcomings as well. You know, it's not only about I am amazing, I'm capable. I mean, yeah, that's beautiful, but that's actually not true, right? In some ways, there are also big challenges and big blind spots I am carrying with me, originating in whatever, where I was born, my family, you know, the whole psychological kind of conditioning we carry, which is also true. It's not only about free spirit, power to manifest, whatever. No, it's self-inquiry is also, and that's the blessing of it. It's also showing me, okay, this, I need help. It would be better if I won't try to do that alone, because somehow, for whatever reason, and the reason is not important, apropos therapy, the reason is not important. The past is not important. It already happened. We cannot change it. It's a given. It's part of the structure. Being familiar with that gives me a precise instruction. When can I move forward? When is it better to wait? And sometimes reach out for help. So there's just this, I just talking about it gives me like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready because I know from within. So it does have therapeutic impact in the sense of I feel capable. But it's not because I repaired anything which was broken or wrong or off. It's just because I know myself.
That's the point, moving out of the I am position. I am this, I am that. And I mean, that starts with our childhood. You have to become something. You have to become someone, a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever. No, you don't have. You already are. And we just need to get rid of those layers and the veil, which is put over us over all those years, and inquire actually our own questions, like moving from the I am position to what am I? Who am I? And
right now.
Yes, exactly. Right now in this situation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And not in the future or in the past. Yeah.
And what I have been just 5 minutes ago attending to my mom's breakfast, of course it is me, but it's definitely not the same than the one having this beautiful conversation with both of you. And it's me. It's one and the same. But you see, self-inquiry is actually revealing to oneself our own multidimensionality as a completely healthy and natural state. Nothing to grab onto, nothing to hold to, nothing to fix. It's a flow. The nature. That's why in the title of our conversation, your nature, the particular nature of this one, of this one, of this one. Wow.
Yeah. And one of the little things I wrote down from talking with you about self-inquiry a while ago was the it was how do we receive the signals, and talked about being our own, self-improvement device. So that aspect of, for me, it's an aspect of growth, that comes in the moment from doing that inquiry, that, like you say, awareness, that deeper realization, and knowing me instead of bypassing me. Yeah.
I listen to you, Shell, and what comes, and I'm going to speak it just because it's, by the end of the day, it's also about love. It's about knowing, accepting, embracing, and loving who we are as we are, without the need to improve in any sense that is motivated by trying to meet some standard, which is whose?
Yeah, expectation.
Whose? My God, how many years? I mean, I'm going to say something, and I do it with all the humbleness. For years, I have a working title for a book, which most probably I'm never going to write, but never mind. I do have this working title. What is normal, and why don't I know anyone? Now, Gabo Mate, one of the, wow, amazing, also beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people speaking out loud in the world. He published The Myth of Normal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
Talking about those expectation was a word that came up here, but like those standards. I mean, what is standard?
I heard a lovely word for it. It's normopathy.
It's a pathology.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. That's a great one. That's a great one. I hope I'll remember it. This is it. This is the measurement. This is the health. This is the well-being. This is nature. As exactly the same way as this one is, and this one, and all of a sudden the other is just much less of a threat. Or much less than a trigger. Now, it's not about standing above or beyond anything. I am triggered. I have fights with my beloved. I am very challenged being here with my aging mother. It's not that I'm like super shanti all the time. But when things happen that get me, because also awareness, I mean, comes, it goes, stays around for a bit longer, then it also goes to sleep. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? And why don't they? And da.
It's a constant flow. It's a constant up and down. But what we humans are doing, we try to tame it. We try to cut the weeds without being aware that if we leave them, there are so beautiful flowers coming out of them. So yeah, it's a thing in society nowadays.
Trusting the flow.
This, yes.
Trusting also my own flow of, super aware. My God, I'm enlightened. Oh my God, oops. Oh, huge fights, total like, wow.
The people who call themselves enlightened, I think they have the most work to do still.
By coming, self-inquiry, is it just like, okay, it's like a constant remembering, a lot of the shamanic work is based on remembering our nature. Our nature is flow, our nature is changing, and remembering that just takes away the pressure.
Oh, yes.
Which many times create anxiety, and then we're just freezing in the corner and we're not moving forward thinking we can control, and we miss life. We just miss this.
It's a constant breathing in and out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just wondering, and tell me what you both think. that if I was watching this and perhaps wasn't used to perhaps doing a lot of well-being, trying of different tools and experiences, and I think, you know, the three of us have a fair understanding of self-inquiry. How could we introduce them to what doing self-inquiry would be like on a very, you know, a very quick level? If, for example, Orly, you were guiding a small self-inquiry process with myself, how could somebody watching sort of see to get to feel, you know, how self-inquiry worked, I guess, opposed to seeing the mug example, you know, or what we've talked over. Yeah, because I think this, you know, a lot of what we are doing is we're trying to share options for people. So it's good for them to understand how they could access it, you know, how they could find a teacher or somebody that you know, is doing that practice, for example.
So what came in mind immediately was somebody who is curious about self-inquiry, I would say sitting for 10 minutes every day, just not even concentrating, just closing the eyes to prevent the distractions of the outside world. And just staying with oneself without being with what is. Okay, let's not even use the word meditation. Just to give oneself a chance of 10 minutes, I would say 10 minutes is a minimum, just to somehow drop into the moment with a timer and feel, listen, inside, outside, just be with oneself. And then take 5 minutes afterwards to write down, what did I experience? What did I find? So that would be a total of 15 minutes just to get an experiential taste of, well, there is a world inside, which is me. And that's how it can feel and taste. And that's like a kind of a very practical exercise, right? Besides that, self-inquiry is something which is amazing to do in diets. So there is an organization, they're called Global Diet Meditation. And they actually have sessions online for free. There is a process of registration and introduction, and that's coming from a different lineage that I'm coming from, but you meet people from all over the world a few times a day. They offer sessions. They are 40-minute sessions. You can jump in there just to get a taste. What I find important to know is it is a long-term process of inquiry. It takes time as we are really changing the focus from an outgoing awareness into a introspective awareness. It is subtle. There are no fireworks. It takes time to get the mind accustomed to that.
Yeah.
So I would really recommend giving it a period. Like, I don't know, with sitting and writing, I would say now just intuitively, maybe 21 days as a challenge of 21 days.
That's
Osho
a good
always
challenge.
used to say, Osho always, as a challenge of meeting oneself with curiosity, just figuring out, what is it? Who am I, kind of, right? Osho always used to say 21 days is the time needed to change a pattern. I don't know if it's true. I actually also don't care. I find 21 days a good amount of time. Mm-hmm. And to come to an assisted self-inquiry, to a session, to a one-on-one, for example, with me or with other people doing it. The Diamond Approach teachers are very well trained and they really do beautiful work. They're standing more in a lineage. I am more of a free spirit in that sense, and I combine many different techniques of self-inquiry, which I'm practicing myself over decades.
Yeah, a lovely spirit you are, really, Orli. I think, shall we have to subscribe to that diet thing?
I can
No,
send
but
you the link. I just sent you the link, so you can go to. There's a process of an
Yes.
intro that you need to go through, and actually, I have two things in mind, which are more in a group. Yeah, I'll send you the info later.
yeah, and
That will
also
be great.
a good start maybe for me. It's make it a philosophy of your day. Like, be aware of everything you do. You don't have to take a certain time during the day, which you are anyway going to forget. But like, if you get up, how does it feel like standing on your feet again, brushing your teeth? How does it feel like in your mouth? What are you feeling? What is the taste and everything? When you are drinking your coffee, as I said with my mug before, you can get so many things out. Or as you are sitting in the car, touching the wheel, how does it feel, the surface you are sitting on? Or taking another road to go to work and observe what are the thoughts which are coming in and everything. So you can like make it your whole day.
For
Be
sure. I
aware.
am
Yeah.
actually doing it also. And
Ah,
it's an
it's
amazing
lovely.
journey to bring in awareness into every moment of our life. And it's just like, wow. Also, this experience of this is me doing it. It's happening to me. There is like, really, it's like, it brings in for me so much agency, right? It's not like I'm being thrown around. Listening to me, you hear my story of the past. I'm not being thrown around by some circumstances and whatever. No, no, no. Here I am. Remember, this is happening to me, meaning I am here. I am present. I have choice.
The bird agrees in the background. So it's also like, if you have a moment where you are not stuck on your square thing in your hand, so maybe you should try the challenge, 21-day challenge, taking 10 minutes of your day, or maybe start being aware of everything you do since you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night, which is really interesting. Absolutely, yeah, try it and look what happens, because I believe that's also where the whole inspiration is hidden. The intuition has more space to come, to tap in, to work actually, because it's not distracted from outside. How we should dress, what we should eat, and how we should think. So a good exercise for the intuition.
For
And
sure. And for
I'd just
creativity.
like to add, sorry, Orly, didn't mean to cut over you, darling.
Intuition. Michelle said a good exercise for intuition, and I just added, and to connect to our creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we've spent, a lot of the session today talking about the self-inquiry aspect, and I don't want to let it pass by mentioning that I have been doing your self-inquiry work in a group with others for 3 years now. And for me, I've found it to be the most valuable tool. And I love what you shared today with the daily practice, because I feel that challenge is absolutely realistic, and I would like to do that in that context, because I think the way I do my self-inquiry generally is more fleeting moments throughout the day of those awareness moments. But I like that particular idea, and I also want to highlight that you also have a huge strength to offer, not only in your inquiry work, but you've done a huge amount of retreat support and attendance and leadership, cooking. So that's a key part of what you're doing monthly or fortnightly, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. You see, I mean, by the end of the day, for me personally, it really all runs to supporting others to explore themselves, whatever that means in a given context and in a given framework. If I do a yoga class, I'm also a yoga teacher, or if I assist an enormous retreat, or if I cook for people coming together to pray and to sing and to work with medicine over a weekend. It's just, I mean, for many years I was looking for what am I going to do, right? I'm also an economist, a studied economist, and I also had a big business in the past. And all of that was fine, more or less, but really I burn for supporting people to explore, discover, and experience themselves. So wherever that puts me, that's where I go. And at this moment of my life, I am finding that the favorite thing I'd like to work one-on-one over a period of time. Really to walk together for a while and accompany and guide and inspire others to just continue this on their own, because there's nobody needed. But as we all know, sometimes it's just good to have some support to start something, right?
Yeah.
So and our group, Shell, the group you mentioned, is really, it has been an enormous inspiration for me, in such a laboratory, to see that it has enormous value, really. It's really not about me giving something or doing something. It's just about sharing what has worked for me with others, and then seeing the benefits as it is reflected back to me, just to see how it unfolds. Now, if that's not good work, I don't know what good work is.
No, wonderful words. And sadly, we're going to have to sort of wrap this up. And I was wondering if you had something inspirational, a quote or a little poem or something that you might like to share with us that speaks to you.
I do. And I chose this one in particular as it is referring to challenging moments or times as potential. And that's how it was for me, and from what I see and from my meetings with other people around the globe, many times it's a challenging time or a challenging experience, which, if allowed in, is actually life-changing and opening the door for a whole new self-experience. So it's a poem by the German poet Rilke, and it's called "Let This Darkness Be a Bell Tower." Quiet friend who has come so far, feel how your breathing makes more space around you. Let this darkness be a bell tower, and you the bell as you ring. What betters you becomes your strength. Move back and forth into the change. What is it like? Such intensity of pain. If the drink is bitter, turn yourself to wine. In this uncontainable night, be the mystery at the crossroads of your senses, the meaning discovered there. And if the world has ceased to hear you, say to the silent earth, I flow. To the rushing water speak, I am.
Perfect.
Very, very beautiful to wrap this episode up. Orli, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your inspirational words, which hopefully touches a lot of other people. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, let's be the bell. As Rieke says, I'm going to be the Tinkerbell because I love to spend time in forest.
But don't forget, everybody who's watching, we would love you to subscribe to us, and there will be some information that follows below the video there to connect you to Orli and to us. In particular, if you would like to make a little donation towards what we're doing, it would be much appreciated. So thanks, everybody. It's a good night from New Zealand.
Good night from Luxembourg.
Good day from Jerusalem, and be curious.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Orli.
Thank you.